Long before poutine and maple syrup, this land was home to the First Nations, Inuit, and Metis. These indigenous peoples built thriving societies with their own governments, trade routes, and cultures. They mastered the land, from the Arctic to the plains, developing sustainable ways to live and prosper. Their social structures, spiritual beliefs, and languages were as diverse as the landscape itself. They weren't just surviving, they were building, creating, and passing down knowledge. When Europeans arrived, indigenous peoples shared their expertise, helping settlers survive harsh winters. This early partnership laid the foundation for everything that followed. Indigenous cultures and resilience are not just history, they're a living part of Canada's identity. Their presence shaped the country's beginnings and continues to influence its path. Remember, Canada's story starts with them. Then came the French, journeying across the Atlantic and settling along the banks of the St. Lawrence River. Their arrival marked the beginning of a new chapter in the land that would become Canada. They founded Quebec City and Montreal, two cities that would become the heart of French culture in North America, bustling with life and echoing with the sounds of a new language. The French brought with them their language, their Catholic faith, and a taste for fine food and café culture, infusing the region with the spirit and flavors of France. They built New France from the ground up, with fur traders navigating wild rivers and farmers cultivating the land, forging a unique society rooted in both adventure and tradition. But the French were not alone for long. Soon after, British ships appeared on the horizon, bringing new settlers and sparking a rivalry that would shape the destiny of the nation for centuries. Fierce battles for control between the French and British led to a country with not just two official languages, but two distinct European cultures woven into its fabric. Today, French and British influences are everywhere, from the debates in Parliament, to the laws that govern daily life, to the breakfast table where croissants meet English tea. Yet this European arrival also brought profound changes for indigenous peoples, introducing unfamiliar laws, new concepts of land ownership, and a wave of settlers that would forever alter their way of life. Treaties were signed, often under pressure or unfair terms, leading to centuries of conflict, misunderstanding, and a struggle for rights that continues to this day. Over time, the French and British became the dominant European groups, establishing a complex framework of governance and culture that would set the stage for future waves of immigrants from around the world. Their legacy is a multicultural foundation, sometimes tense, often debated, but always evolving as new voices and traditions are added to the Canadian story. Canada's identity, rich and complex, is forever shaped by this early collision of cultures, a story of rivalry, resilience, and remarkable diversity. As Canada grew, it needed people, lots of them, from all walks of life. The government called for immigrants to build railways, farm the prairies, and fill cities with new energy and hope. Chinese workers braved dangerous conditions to connect the country by rail, forging links across vast distances. Eastern Europeans turned grasslands into farmland, bringing resilience, new traditions, and a spirit of perseverance. Black communities, many arriving via the Underground Railroad, built vibrant neighborhoods and fought for justice and equality. Italians, Germans, Scandinavians, and others added their own customs, flavors, and celebrations to the mix. Canada was transforming from a British-French society into a true mosaic of cultures and backgrounds. Cities buzzed with new languages. The countryside flourished with diverse farms and fresh ideas. Each group added a unique piece to the ever-evolving Canadian puzzle. The nation was becoming a vibrant tapestry of cultures, one arrival at a time. Canada's doors weren't always open to everyone. For much of its early history, the country carefully controlled who could enter, shaping the nation's identity through selective immigration. Early immigration policies favored people from Britain and Northern Europe, leaving others out. The government believed these groups would best fit the Canadian ideal, while people from other backgrounds faced barriers and suspicion. Discriminatory laws like the Chinese head tax and the Chinese Immigration Act sent a clear message: some were welcome, others were not. South Asian and Black immigrants also faced exclusion, with policies and public attitudes reinforcing a narrow vision of who belonged. After World War II, attitudes began to shift. The horrors of war and the need for rebuilding made Canadians rethink old prejudices, and the country slowly opened up to new possibilities. In 1967, the point system changed the game. Immigrants were judged on skills, not race. This new approach valued education, work experience, and language ability, making the process fairer and more transparent. This opened doors to people from Asia, Africa, the Caribbean, and Latin America. Canada's population began to reflect the world's diversity, bringing new energy and perspectives to the country. In 1971, Prime Minister Pierre Trudeau declared multiculturalism official policy. This was a bold step, recognizing that Canada's strength lay in its diversity. Diversity was now something to celebrate, not just tolerate. Festivals, food, music, and traditions from around the globe became part of everyday Canadian life. Canada moved from a melting pot to a mosaic, where every culture kept its unique color and shape. Each community contributed to the larger picture, enriching the nation as a whole. The country promised to support all its people, not just a select few. Policies and programs aimed to ensure equal opportunity and respect for all backgrounds. This shift set the stage for a more inclusive, dynamic society. Schools, workplaces, and neighborhoods became places where people from every corner of the globe could thrive together. The mosaic was finally coming together, piece by piece, as Canadians learned to value and embrace their differences. But the journey was far from over. Building a truly inclusive society is an ongoing process, one that continues to shape Canada's story today. Even with new policies in place, life for immigrants in Canada remained incredibly challenging. The first hurdle was often learning a new language, an intimidating task for many, especially adults who had to juggle work, family, and study all at once. Mastering English or French was not just about communication, it was the key to finding jobs, making friends, and feeling at home. Adapting to a new culture brought its own set of challenges. Everyday routines, foods, and customs were unfamiliar, and many newcomers felt isolated as they tried to fit in while holding on to their own traditions. And then there was the Canadian weather. Long, harsh winters that could be both physically and emotionally draining, especially for those from warmer climates. For many, just getting through the day was an act of courage. Beyond these daily struggles, many faced discrimination, sometimes in the form of cold stares or exclusion from neighbors, but often from the system itself. South Asians, for example, encountered open racism and legal barriers, as seen in the infamous Komagata Maru incident, where hundreds of hopeful passengers were denied entry and forced to return, their dreams shattered. Jewish refugees fleeing war and persecution also found closed doors, their pleas for safety often ignored, summed up by the chilling phrase, "None is too many." Caribbean immigrants, especially skilled women, struggled to have their hard-earned qualifications recognized. Despite their talents and experience, many were forced into low-paying jobs, their skills undervalued. They often faced endless bureaucracy and barriers to equal treatment, making it difficult to build the lives they had dreamed of. But immigrants didn't just accept these injustices, they organized, protested, and fought for their rights. They built strong support networks, helping each other navigate the challenges of a new land. Through marches, rallies, and community action, they demanded a fairer, more inclusive Canada. Their resilience and determination forced the country to confront its own values and prejudices. The struggle and perseverance of immigrants is a vital part of Canada's journey toward inclusion, a story of hope, courage, and the ongoing fight for justice. Immigrants rolled up their sleeves and built modern Canada. They created vibrant neighborhoods, Little Italy, Chinatown, Little Maghreb, infusing cities with energy and enterprise. Immigrants launched successful companies, drove innovation, and filled crucial jobs in every sector. Their economic impact is undeniable, but their cultural influence is just as powerful. They brought foods like shawarma, pho, and samosas, making Canadian cuisine anything but bland. Festivals, music, and art from around the world now fill Canadian calendars. Immigrants challenged the old idea of what it means to be Canadian. They proved that anyone from anywhere can belong and contribute. Canada's identity is now defined by diversity, creativity, and shared values. The country thrives because of its many voices, not in spite of them. Today, Canada's multicultural story is still unfolding. Walk any city street and you'll see and hear the world. Diversity is now Canada's calling card, but challenges remain. Systemic racism, credential recognition, and reconciliation with Indigenous peoples are ongoing issues. Building an inclusive society takes constant effort, but most Canadians embrace diversity as a strength. It's taught in schools, celebrated in communities, and woven into daily life. Everyday interactions, kids from different backgrounds playing together, break down barriers. Canada's story is one of journeys, Indigenous peoples, settlers, immigrants, all adding verses to the national song. The tapestry is still being woven, richer with every new thread. It's a song that's complex, sometimes messy, but always hopeful. The work isn't finished, but the vision is clear. And that's something worth celebrating.